Welcome back to Never Famous, the home of the Purple Pill Conversations. Please hit the like, comment, and subscribe. We're back for another one.
I still have no idea what a purple pill is, but
Neither do I. What's
I
a
guess we're
purple
gonna
pill?
find out as we start doing this shit and
All
talk
right,
more
so
about it.
when I had this like thought, I've been having this for a while, but I couldn't just really like think of a name for it. But it's kind of like the conversations that we've had before, like in when the what's it called, a Venn diagram? I think it's called
A Venn diagram.
whatever.
When the two circles come together and
Yeah,
it's like
and then this
one side here, and then there's the middle.
it's the little pussy in the middle.
Yeah.
And even though that's the smallest amount, it's just the smallest little slit or whatever. That's actually where most of us live in. We really live
In
in
the
that
middle?
in that middle space.
In the
Yes,
middle of the
in the
Venn
vagina.
diagram.
Yes, that's exactly where we all live at. And then there's like the super left or the super right, where it's like the super red pill people or the, like super woke, super whatever. So I just I want this to be like more of a middle
Ah,
conversation
so you're
for
saying you
the eighty
have the red
percent.
pill, you have the blue pill. It makes purple.
It
I never
And
makes
we
knew.
already purple if you really think about it
uh,
too. Right. Purple, me and Purple got something special.
so purple would be like you have a combination of both. You're not too much to the left, you're not too much to the right. You're kind of like well balanced.
Yeah.
I think most
And
humans
then
are.
yeah, and then even exactly, and then even in the conversations where you might be leaning a little bit more one way or the other, you're still open and willing to have conversation, like respectful, open dialogue conversations about actual topics, not it just being a personal attack on anyone.
It's got me thinking now. I think you're right. I think I might be a little purple pillish. I'm not when you're breaking it down that way. Because I'd be open. Like, I'm not completely closed off to ideas and certain things. But when I think about it by myself, I'm not too much to the left and I'm not too much to the right.
Nah, I'm close off to some crazy shit.
He said, what?
I'm close off to some crazy shit, and a lot of this shit going on right now on both extreme is crazy shit.
It's
So
like
maybe in the
what? Like
middle.
what? Like what's, give me an example. Like,
Of all
what's
the
great?
craziness,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're either going super woke in one direction
Yeah.
or super conservative in the other.
But are you closed off to the conversations on these topics, or are you closed off to maybe you engaging in some of these things?
No, 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 no. Because I know there's people that aren't like people that are on both of the ends, like super crazy at the end of each side, cannot even engage in conversation because they want to shut you up. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are questioning their thought process or their beliefs or what they think, they just want to shut your mouth from talking or questioning it, as opposed to articulating their thoughts in a way that may convince me to come to their side. Like right now it's more about I don't like what you're saying, so you shouldn't have the right to say it.
See, that's corny to me, though. That's corny. Because everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And nobody should feel like they are silenced or that they can't say whatever's on it, or whatever's on their mind or or state their opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think that that's the reality in the space that we in, and that's why I'm when we were talking the other day, I'm like, oh, we gotta make this a space of for these kind of conversations. We're like normalizing all types of conversations from all different aspects, and it just being okay to like just to talk about shit.
And then,
That's why I'm sorry, but that's why I asked him. I'm like, are you against talking about certain things, or are you against just you engaging in certain things? You
yeah,
get what I'm saying? Because I think that we gotta like at least open the dialogue to
because
certain conversations.
we're too afraid of this, the sensitivity and offending people. That's what it is. Because, in this day and age, people are so super duper sensitive, especially with the main things that are going on in the world with pronouns and just opinions in general. Like, you can't really have an opinion nowadays. And I
That's
don't
not
see,
true. I think it's the opposite. I think people who want you to be tolerant are the less tolerant, if that makes any more sense.
hmm,
Because if you think of the people that are usually talking about all the pronouns, if you want to use that as an example, they're saying, I want you to tolerate all these 300 pronouns, but I don't have the bandwidth to tolerate the fact that you say that there's only two pronouns.
right,
You get what I'm saying?
right.
It's like you're asking me to be tolerant, but you cannot be tolerant in return.
And I think being purple pill is not bad because I feel like too much of something is not good. You know that saying, like too much
Of anything.
of anything is bad, right? Like, why not have or be open to both sides of the spectrum? being
Sometimes
balanced.
it's more than two sides to an argument or to a conversation to a topic.
True.
And that's why I think that that's it's the importance of the conversation is that a lot of it's not just there's three of us in this room, but a lot of times we've had conversations and people write us in the comment section and they'll add a fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth different point of view that need like none of us three thought about, and
Right.
that's the whole and
I
like
didn't
that's
peep that before.
yeah that's what I'm saying. That's the whole good part of this conversation of opening when people are actually saying points and having conversations, not like attacking each other.
Do you feel like we have more one side than the other? Because I know earlier you said
Who's we?
us, like country or the world. I know you said that you feel like I don't know if this is facts, but you said that there's most of it, most of us is really in the middle. But I don't know if a lot of us are in the middle. I think we're more so to one side than the other.
No, I don't agree. I think, well, I'll talk to America. I'm not going to talk because I think different countries would probably be a little different. I think people who talk about their beliefs, there's a small amount of people that will speak publicly and loudly, whether it is in social media, tweeting, getting in front of a mic like this and like share their opinions. It's a very, very minute amount of people. But most people living their day to day life out and about in America, I do think that they fall somewhere in the middle. Like nobody is like, unless you're like extremely religious in one way, then you're super conservative this way, or you're super liberal. But I think if you really can dissect most people's thoughts and like can ask you an array of different topics, they may feel very conservative on one topic, but very, very liberal on another topic. And I think that's most people. It's just that now we've been trying to play this game that you either are all to the right or all to the left,
But you
which
don't
is
think
impossible.
I think, for example, in Philly, which is where I live, there's a like it's a majority Democratic voting city or whatever. But then on average, a lot of people have guns, and so then a lot of times there's like that's more of a Republican thing
mm,
in terms of the way that it's pushed and like narratives or whatever. You get what I'm saying? But then a lot
yeah.
of people do still have guns. So I think if we pulled up surveys or something like that, depending on whatever the topic is, it'll be more or less around like that 80-75% of people are somewhere in the middle. Or like he said, they might be of a political party, but some of they have other mixed in beliefs.
So you don't think we're more on like the blue pill side at all as
Who's
a
we?
country?
Who's we?
As a
We
country, as a country.
No.
no. I think it depends on the topic. I don't think like in general, no.
In
I
general, bro.
really think believe I like I said, I think we're about 75-80% of us are in the middle.
Mm. What do you think, bro?
No, like I think if you really take that into just take any given election into account, like over the last 2, 3 elections, a lot of stuff was split very close to like 50%. So like
So
if
we're
you
speaking in election
no,
terms?
if you taking that as a way of gauging,
Mm,
and just that alone, the fact that we are so close to like almost a 50-50, kind of shows you that a lot of people are somewhere in the middle. Because if
mm,
we were really leaning more towards one side or the other, then it would be like 80-20, the kind of wins you will see.
okay.
You know what I mean? So as a country, I don't think we are that much. You may go to a city that may lean more heavily one way, and then go to another city or a different state that leans in the other direction, and that's what creates that weird balance.
So you think we're more red pill?
No, I'm saying 50-50.
Damn. I was trying.
Purple.
I was trying to see. So all right. So we got a definition of purple pill. So what would you define red pill? And then we'll go to blue.
No, I think those are defined already by default. I think red pill nowadays it falls on the conservative side of things, and blue falls in the liberal
Liberal.
side of things, and
Mm.
that's just already been established.
I'm just asking for like the viewers in case they
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
that's already been established. Like most people who's been red pilled is, even if you go with the Matrix situation, is being awakened to the reality of what's going on, which normally tends to lean towards more conservative side of things.
Mm.
But the interesting thing about it is that if you would have made the same, if the internet was a thing in the early 2000s in the way that it is today, I think the red pill would have been what we now consider liberals. Like a lot of the ideologies and mentalities kind of been flipped.
Flipped.
Yeah.
Would you say you're
What's
more
that
red
sense?
pill?
It depends on the topic. I think for certain things, I'm very conservative on. For certain things, I'm extremely liberal on. Some things I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. So that's what I mean. Like I fall in the middle. Like it depends on what it is. Like if you talk to me about free speech, I'm probably conservative. I'm an absolutist when it comes to free speech. You should be able to say whatever you want as long as you're not harming someone. It is up to you. But then that also means that somebody else can come back with their speech against your speech, and that should be fine.
Should be fine. Yeah.
Um, and then like gay marriage and shit, I don't care. People can. I feel like love who you love, do what you do. Probably fall on the liberal side on that. So that's what I mean. It depends on whatever issue you bring up. I'll probably be on one side or the other, depending on what we're talking about.
Is
What
there
were you gonna say?
is there a particular um I like point idea or whatever that you said that you said from the early 2000s to now how would have like switched around? Like any particular thing that comes to mind?
Yeah, like wars. Like that's the most like right now the people that are talking about we shouldn't be in Ukraine and like more on the anti-war side of the conversation are the conservatives in the country. Where in the early 2000s you had Bush pushing for war, and then you had the liberals saying we shouldn't be like in Iraq and Afghanistan and so on. So
I don't know if that's a
that's one
political.
very specific topic where the blue was very anti it and the red was pro it in like early 2000s, and now it's flipped.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a good like a good point because you figure Obama and Biden both have been in wars. Like they follow Bush's lead. Because
Yeah,
since
but they
2000's only been three president or four
no, I
presidents. The
get
only
it, but
different one was Trump, and Trump was the one that was pulling people out of
that's
wars.
what I mean. That's like we're in like and Obama and Biden. Technically, they inherited the wars, right?
Yeah,
But they didn't choose to find a way to out of them. Like they continue to engage in it, and now a lot of the rhetoric you will hear from some of the people that are fall more within the liberal side, it comes from good intentions, but it is advocating and asking for more war. It's like all the shit we sent to Ukraine, like Hong Kong and so on. Like now, people are asking for us to take military action. Uh, it is based on what they think is morally good, but it is definitely the liberal side is pushing more for the war. Like more people on the liberal side are definitely pushing for like the U.S. to get involved with the stuff happening in Israel and Palestine. Same stuff with Ukraine and Russia, as opposed to many of the conservatives were the ones saying we shouldn't be sending as much aid, we shouldn't be sending military, we shouldn't take action, like physical action, like send troops to these places. Uh, they're kind of the ones saying we almost need to take a step back from being the police of the world, for lack of a better term. Where I think 20 years ago it would have been the other way around, like completely the other way around.
yeah. In this conversation though, now I'm just gonna switch the conversation a little bit. It did is making me think about though what we will do moving forward though. Now that I'm thinking about it, we should make a list of like all of like the red pill conversations, the blue pill conversations, and kind of just like talk about them, like break them down, some
Dissect
type of
them.
shit. Because you can so you and like because that way you can see how people that you might be on whatever you might consider yourself whatever either like you might consider yourself blue pill and then we on a red pill conversation like wait hold on I agree with this shit I
Yeah.
don't agree with the blue pill version of what this is you're like my side you know what I'm saying
Yeah. Yeah.
or what
Yeah.
my side pushes out or whatever
You.
I think that would be a good
It helps get different perspectives.
yeah and to actually break down what some of these like different conversations actually are about and like you know where a lot of us land on them.
True.
Yep. Cool. So I'm gonna switch it up. I have a bunch of notes. So here's one of the ones I wanted to go over.
So.
Um, so this is a common, and I want to have this conversation because I think this is going to lean into what led us to start recording today's podcast. Um, and this is about being a young man in your 20s and the message we're used to hearing in our 20s as young men. Um, and that is in your 20s, you're young, You get to you should use those to like have fun, fuck around, and like kind of do you. And especially nowadays, I think we are getting to the point where we're considering people in their 20s kids, which to me makes no sense. Because there's this message of life is long, uh, and you'll be able to accomplish things once you're older. What are your thoughts on that and your reaction to
I
that?
think that's bullshit. I mean, life can be long, but life is not guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people have this notion of like, your 20s, you're young, have fun, do this, do that. But really, I feel like you need to take your 20s to
Take advantage of.
take advantage of, because I don't think you're going to have the same, for lack of better words, opportunities a lot of the times that you have in your 20s as opposed to being, I don't know, 30s, 40s, so on and so forth.
But I
Like,
think
your 20s definitely is a good space to fuck up, and learn and things like that. But I think people should really take 20s a little bit more serious than what they kind of like push it out to be nowadays, where it's like, oh, have fun, do whatever, blah blah. But then once you get to your 30s, there's like, oh shit, well, I gotta take life serious. Like, I don't know. I think 30s is a little bit not too late, but yeah, you should have started taking life a little bit more serious before 30. You know what I'm saying?
I think with your 20s is like, yeah, you mess up a lot, but you also have a lot more energy when you're younger. And because I think you
That
might, I
too.
think you might get more opportunities as you get older. I think it's opposite from what you're saying. Maybe as you get 30, 40, 50, because now you're getting smarter, you get more connections, you might see things that you might have not seen in your 20s when you did mess up. So I think that's what it is. But we should take advantage of it a little bit more instead of like, oh, I'm gonna be out partying or doing this and that. Like
Yeah.
I'm a kid that nah, like you grown, bro. Like we're gonna mess up, but we should hold ourselves to a certain level of standard.
so. Why are young men not doing that?
I think
Because
that
I
they
think right
are.
now you're not. I think if I pay attention to young men, oftentimes you hear the concept of, oftentimes you'll hear it's too hard now to do it. Like I won't be able to achieve what my parents did. Like now getting a house is not realistic. You know what I mean? Like there's always this.
It's bullshit. It's
The,
excuses. Because if you really want to be honest, like this conversation that we had one day, that it was about the same shit about buying a crib. And then I was just thinking about that conversation. And recently, I like maybe like last week, I went and I looked up like the cheapest places to live in America, the top 10 cheapest places to live. And I'm like, all right, out of these 10 places, what city out of these places would I live in? And it's not to shit on any of those cities, but I'm like, number one, the cheapest was Oklahoma City. And I was like, that's probably the only place I would actually move without ever, I've never been there.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, and I said that to say like, all right, I can look up literally I can find somewhere cheaper to live than what Philly is right now. Like there's a whole bunch of like small cities, big towns, whatever in America that are still affordable to live in. So you can still do these things. You can still buy an affordable home. You can still build a business. You might not just be able to do it in New York City. But like, it's hard, or maybe in Philly might be hard for somebody, but you can do it in a smaller place, in a Detroit, in a Oklahoma City, in a Baltimore, in a I don't know,
Mhm.
there's different cities. There's more affordable cities.
Yeah, it's one way.
Yeah, I don't like on that route. I definitely agree with you that it's bullshit because speaking for myself, I bought a house in my 20s, and all it really took was just to be for me to be serious about it, save money, and actually take the necessary steps to
And your
get
crib
one.
isn't in a bullshit city. Sorry to like, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
say anything more than that. But it's in the state of New Jersey, so it's like it's not like you know what I'm saying.
yeah, and that's another thing. You're right. It's not in a bullshit city. It's in a good area, but it's definitely excuses. It's definitely excuses. I know this for a fact because I could have gotten a crib earlier than when I bought it. Like when did I buy my crib? Like 25? I think turning 25 or 25. Anyways, if I really wanted to, if I was more serious towards that goal, I could have had it at 21, 22, before 25,
Yeah,
just to say. But I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on going out, going to New York every weekend, having a good time, spending money, wasting money on bitches. Like I'm like, yo, that's what I thought. I was like, yo, what am I doing? Like I know I want a crib, right? I know I want to buy a house. This is something that I always had in my head, but I'm not doing anything towards that other than just saying I want a crib. You can
I,
say you want one all you want, but actions are more you reap more with actions than words.
So what do you say to that guy that's that 21, 22-year version of what he's saying? And it's like, all right, I'm and they might be a little bit more responsible than what he was, like, and they might be on their path or their goal, but they're also like, damn, I want to enjoy my life too.
I'm not saying don't enjoy your life. So there's a couple things. So I can take it in a couple different directions. So if I had to simplify the message, um, something that you often hear is the importance of experience, right? And what can happen. Hold on, let me do this real quick. No, what I was gonna say, what as a man, especially nowadays, we are making life sound extremely difficult. And I'm not saying that it's easy when you're young, but we also want to simplify the fact that life is hard in many instances, and you're gonna have to do shit you don't want to do times when you don't want to do it, and that should be expected of you as a man. And nobody's saying that. And if you think about it, of like, oh, I'm gonna take my 20s to have fun, and then in my 30s to build. You're literally saying I'm gonna start a decade too late.
Exactly.
And if you think a little bit deeper, think about the people that are now killing it in life. And like now, as a society, many people hate on them because they became billionaires or whatever the case is. Um, in life, experience comes from getting things done and doing them. And then once you've done them for so long, you become great at it. Like if you take the YouTube game, who's the number one YouTuber?
Mr. Beast,
Mr. Beast. When did he start doing YouTube?
long ass time ago.
No, but like at what age?
He was a kid. I'm
He
not too
was
familiar with his
literally a
story.
kid. He was like 11, 12, or something like that. Like he was a very young kid. So by the time he was 18, 20 years old, you know what I mean? Like say by the time he was 22,
I did not know he was that young doing
he
YouTube.
had 10 years of experience on doing the YouTube shit.
It's 10,000
So you know what
hours.
I mean? So you can tell me that by the time he's 30, he can say have 20 years of experience. And then me coming in at 30 starting the YouTube game, there's no way I'm gonna catch up to his 20 years of experience and understanding the algorithm.
Hell no.
uh like it's just part of it that you can't cheat. There's certain things that you can only achieve with putting in time.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
earlier you begin to put in that time, the closer you are to that goal. And I think that's often lost, or we the illusion of time, because you're young, has never been presented to you in a way that can seem as time is not infinite. It is going to come to an end.
And not only is it that the earlier you start, the closer you get, but the earlier you can get to the goal as well. And there's this notion, and I used to hear it all the time, and anytime I heard it, it just never made sense to me. You always hear, "Oh, you're young, you got time, you got time," and I'll tell people, "No, I don't. Like life, you never. I could be here today and gone tomorrow. Life is not
Yeah.
guaranteed, and just because I got time doesn't mean I should waste it. You know,
Hmm.
make the most out of the time that you have. People,
Not even make the most. Not because I think that's too vague of an approach. Uh, because that is, and I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean it like, especially when you're young, you're looking for direction and something specific to do. Make the most, leaves it up for interpretation. Maybe the most at that time is get drunk, have fun, get girls. You know what I mean? But
yeah, it depends on the perspective.
that's what I mean. So like that leaves it too vague, but instead focus on small actions that will eventually accumulate to a massive
Right.
achievement. And I think sometimes we get so honed in on this massive goal or this massive end end line that we want to get to as men, that we don't take the focus of saying, the in order for me to get, let's say if I'm starting a marathon, the first thing I need to do is take the first step, and then a second step, and then the third step. So if I start thinking about I need to get to the finish line and it's 27 miles away, 26 point whatever many miles away, as opposed to saying all I need to do now is take the next step,
And
and the
we,
next step,
so
and the
many of
next
us
step.
struggle with that first step, just taking that first step. So many of us struggle with that.
But that's like not for me anymore in life. Like now, I've built up enough of a work ethic and in my set, like the later, like half of my 20s, that that's not my problem anymore. My shit is that like to use your marathon example, we go like if the marathon is life or like or this for example, I don't know what mile I'm on.
You probably like a mile 10, mile 11, miles. Have
So
you ever ran a marathon, by the way? That
no, bro,
long?
you know I have never ran no fucking marathon.
No,
Come
He was
on,
trying to put
bro.
you on blast.
Like,
no,
come on, bro. You see, you know how lazy I am,
no.
bro.
The reason I'm going to say this is because that would be like one of the best examples to think about it. Because once you get to like the halfway mark and you're like, shit, I got another 10, 12
But you know
miles,
exactly.
you
You
kind
know how
of
much you have to
do.
have to
But
run.
around that point in time, your mind starts telling you, I can't do this shit.
Because you
I'm
know how
done.
much
I'm
left.
tired. I'm
Yeah.
in pain.
That's when your mind
Like
got to
it's trying to
carry you
tell you to
through it.
stop. So it's not carry you to. That's when you got to trick your mind to keep going. That's when you got to tell your mind it's not about getting to another 10 miles. It's about I'm gonna take another step and the next step
No,
and like focus on the little things and
that's
like the stuff
crazy.
that's repeatable that you can do every day that will get you to just keep on moving and get the ball rolling. And before you know it, you're like, oh shit, I'm almost there. Like I can see it. I can see the end goal. I can see the destination. And sometimes you get in so much of a zone when you focus on enjoying the process of getting things done that eventually you probably have the energy to keep running past the finish line if you were to think about it that way.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. It's just it's hard though. If I'm being like I'm like really talking about myself. It's tough when I'm like I don't know where the mile marker is of any mile. Like I don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. Like I understand that because some shit I was writing down. I'm like, are the more that you do things like I using myself as an example. The more that I've been doing this, the better I get in the different little tidbits that I pick up that I'm like, oh, I need to improve here. I need to improve here. I need like I'll see and I know where I need to improve and get better at. But then at the same time, it's like, damn, I still don't know. Like I said, what mile marker I'm at. So sometimes, like I feel like that's what sometimes a lot of people give up on shit.
True. But don't you think there's beauty in not knowing though? Because it's like it goes back to what he was saying. Like when you know, and then you like, oh shit, I got 10 more miles. That starts to fuck with your head, and then you start that starts to take away energy.
It depends on the way you look at it. I don't look. Me personally, I don't view shit like that. I view it as like, oh, I only got 10. Like I just 10 miles left. Let me like really just get to this shit so I could get it done. I could get out of here.
Like I think about it, like for example, when I'm at the gym, right, and I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna be on the stairmaster for 5 minutes. I fucking hate the stairmaster. Let me just say this, but every time I'm looking at the time or how much time I got left, it just mentally it does something for me mentally, and it's just 5 minutes. But when I keep looking at the time, even it could be 1 minute left, and I just for me doing that, it starts to drain me. I start to think like that, like shit, bro. This it starts to feel harder. It starts to feel like, damn, can I go an extra minute? Damn, I kind of just want to stop now.
So the key is not to look at the time,
Yeah,
or for me not to focus on
and
the goal that I set out in my mind.
yeah, just keep. It's like just keep going. Don't even look. Don't even worry about the time. Just keep going, and then you'll. Oh, what's the word? You'll get there sooner than you think, kind of thing. Like if you just don't look, you'll be like, "Oh shit, it's 5 minutes already. Oh damn, all right," and you still feel like you got energy. But when you're looking at it, your energy starts to deplete. I'm just speaking from experience.
Try to fall in love with the process. I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
pretty
the
much
number
what it
one thing.
is.
So I think something that we're often told that is too vague of an advice, and to me makes absolutely no sense, and that is, and let me know if you've heard this. Find your passion and focus on that.
Yeah, I don't, bro. I
Neither.
don't like
Neither.
what's. I agree with you.
Well,
It don't make
I've
no
heard that before,
sense.
but
It don't
Yeah,
make
like
no
you probably
sense.
told that. Like a lot of people, when they ask you for like, people will give you those kinds of advices, and it kind of sucks. 'Cause sometimes people who are very successful in life or they've made it in life, they will give you that kind of advice, but they are skipping all the hard work that they did to get where they got there, and they don't realize that they didn't start out with their passion. They probably developed a passion for what they did.
Mm. So you think
Uh,
the passion is more so developed rather than it being found?
Correct. I don't think you find it. I think you work for it and eventually you become good at something and you become passionate for it. Like you really
Yeah,
find a joy in doing it.
because you're seeing success in it, and that's what brings the passion into
It
it.
doesn't even need to be success in a way of like maybe making money or something. It could even be
Not
you
just being
find
good at it.
yourself enjoying the time doing it. Like it
Yeah.
can be for some people, it can be the gym. It can be like, yo, I really enjoy coming to the gym, lifting weights, and the environment that I'm in. I want to be in this every single day. So then that leads into you potentially starting a personal training business or something that puts you in that environment. But in order for you to get there, first you needed to discover that, hey, me going through the process of like changing my body through coming in every single day and putting in the time to get the physique that I wanted got me to develop this fashion. It wasn't that the first day I walked into the gym, I
It
was
clicked.
passionate about it because you
Yeah.
probably didn't know what the fuck you were doing.
Right.
You cannot tell me everybody that ever went into the gym that they won, they knew exactly what they were doing and they were super passionate about it
Hmm.
because it's impossible. And that's, I think, is the same with anyone and everything that they tell you that they do what they're passionate about.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I think you develop the passion because I kind of felt that way with creating content. I mean, I always enjoyed it. I always seen it like from young, watching YouTube and things like that. I always kind of liked it. But as I started doing it and learning, one, I would go through the process of like, damn, like this is difficult, or I'm not getting this. I don't know how to do a certain trick or transition or whatever the case may be. But once I start to get it, once I start to learn, it starts to trigger like a, I don't know, like a dopamine thing. And then I want to just keep doing it and then maybe learn more or find more ways to be more creative in making content. And it kind of keeps the flow going. You know what I mean?
Mhm. And you know what you need to get comfortable as a man, which is, let me try to find a way to describe it. So if you can kind of get comfortable with this feeling, that means that you're doing something right. Whenever you're doubting taking the next step, or you feel like that knot in your gut of like, fuck, like that anxiety of like, should I do it? And it can be, if you're a content creator, it may be hitting publish in a video that's about to go live. Or it may be, I don't like, a lot of people will say I don't like to hear myself like watch myself in video and stuff like
Or
that.
hear
It's just
myself
because
talk and
that
whatever.
kind of stuff, like hitting that. Or for some people it may be um walking into the gym every day that gives you anxiety. Whatever the case is, like whenever you feel that knot and that discomfort where you just hit self-doubt, almost view that, try to get it to the point where you seek that feeling almost intentionally if you can, and try to trick your mind into saying that you're excited about what you're about to do, not that you're anxious about what you get to do. So like if that makes any, I'm trying to describe it because I,
It's like it's
Like
pretty much
changing
just
your perspective on it.
instead of running away from it, face it.
yeah, it's like face it, but but like identify it,
Hmm.
like because I know you feel it, and I think if you, oftentimes you will feel it, and you will let that feeling overcome you, and
Hmm.
stop you from taking the first step or stop you from getting something done. So it's almost like get used to the point of like, oh, I know who you are, I know why you're here. Not today, bitch. This is literally the conversation I have in my mind. Like literally, I talk to myself that I was like, oh, there you are. Yep,
Mm.
not a little bitch today. Get out of the car and do it.
Yeah, yeah, I
Or
like that.
not doing it today. Cool. Walk through the door and get it done now. Like that's the way I do it, and it can be little things. It can be big things. Sometimes it's a tiny bit of that feeling. Sometimes it's massive, depending on how it is. Especially if you have a very large amount of responsibility, or you have a lot potentially hanging on the line.
This is very common with overthinkers. I can speak for myself on that one. Like for example, with creating content, the overthinking starts, and then that's when you start to get stuck. That's when you put yourself in like a chokehold, and you don't take that first step. Overthinking whether it was impactful enough, if I got the right song, or was the video entertaining enough, like all this dumb shit. And the crazy thing is that it's all in my head. And then when I actually post it, or if I show somebody else, if I'm overthinking it, but somebody else sees it, like, "Yo, bro, what are you talking about? Like, this is fire. Why are you overthinking this?" And I think that's really the root of what you're saying
Mhm.
is overthinking.
And I think that comes in anything. It comes in anything you can do in life, and it's not just like we're using content creation as an example,
Example.
but I think you can do this in any aspect of like, I don't know, if you're in sales or something, and cold calling someone gives you anxiety. And I'm like, cool. Like I'm gonna tell this. Like I'll have a speech that I tell myself every time. It's like, yep, not today, bitch. Grab that phone and start dialing.
Not today,
So
bitch.
so let me ask you, because that's, you guys both gave perfect examples. So then, what about for the content creator that's failing, or the cold call person that, even though they're telling themselves that shit, is still failing?
I'm getting
So
cursed
it's
out
like,
by all
yeah,
those
it's like,
calls.
for as much as love of the game that you got, like, after how much failing or how much time are you supposed to be like, all right, maybe this just isn't for me,
But
and there's nothing wrong with that.
how are you gauging failure?
That's a
Ooh,
that's
that's
a
a
good
really good
that's a good question.
question.
Um, maybe you're not. Honestly, would be in the two examples that we're talking about. It would be seeing a lack of growth that you feel is
Like,
sufficient enough.
for example, content creation, views, maybe lack of comments, video not going viral, maybe negative comments, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. Monetization from the, like, the actual work that you're
Hmm.
putting out, shit like that.
Yeah. What about it?
That's what I'm saying. So my question is, how, at what point are you like, all right, I'm just not, maybe a cold calling sales isn't for me. Maybe content creating isn't for me. Maybe being a personal trainer just isn't for me. Like, yeah, my journey
Yeah,
was
bro.
good for me, but that's just being a trainer. That's it. Like, I'm not a good teacher. That's maybe that's not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Hmm. So it's like that you're trying to say is okay, where's that fine line of where we say, okay, maybe this isn't for me, and being okay with that.
Yeah, like, all right,
Like
I
you
took.
put in the work, you put in the consistency and stuff like that, but the results wasn't really equivalent
Yeah,
to
like,
what you
I
put in.
took what I'm gonna take from this journey. Like you said, a lot of people start out on the journey of, all right, I started out being a pod, like, I wanted to be a podder, but today I'm not. I wouldn't even say that that's what I am. You know what I'm saying? Or like, by the time that my last day doing this is, I might finish in a completely different space that I didn't imagine when I started this. You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
I mean,
how do you gauge
I
it?
think to answer that, I think this is gonna still bring it into a circle. But I think to answer that is for you to have that answer in your head is to feel like, okay, I think and I feel that I put my absolute all in this. Like I can, like, when I think back of everything, I put in 100,000% into this, and I didn't get what I thought I was gonna get from it. So maybe this isn't for me. But then again, that can be led to perspective, right? Like, did you really like put 1,000% in? You know what I mean? You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
Hmm.
get
if
what
I'm
you.
like if that's coming out, if I'm coming
No,
across.
it makes sense. How you feel about it, bro?
So for me, and this comes from a book that I read, and it's funny because I apply this a lot, and the book is called Someday Is Today, and the gauge I use for this is whenever I'm going through those thoughts in my mind, I ask myself, I have a conversation with a 90-year-old me. So if today I was sitting next to me at 90 years old,
You'd be so
I-
lucky.
I'm going to ask myself the question, if I was a 90-year-old, if I didn't do this today, will I regret this at 90? And if the 90-year-old me answers back, you could have done it two more times. Why do you stop today? Cool, I'm going to keep doing it. And then that helps me view it in a very different way because then it takes you away from the here and now, and it puts you more into the perspective of like, what do I want my life to have been, and at 90 do I want to regret not have done it one more time? Do I want to regret not giving myself a chance to go, damn, you could have gone for one more year and you probably would have blown up, but now you got to live with this in your mind when you're 90 of like, damn, I could have really been killing that in podcasts, or I could have really been doing this and this, but I didn't get my chance that extra day of going out and doing this. Or I didn't give my chance of those two extra calls that could have been the big deal that I was waiting on to get kickstart my career. And that can be with anything in life. And it can be for something small, it can be for something big. Um, and that changed that into perspective because even for me, I juggle a lot of things. So I do a lot of different things, and then having kids is something as simple as like if I'm working and my son comes up to me at that moment, I'm like, fuck, I gotta finish this that I'm doing. But then for that second, would the 90-year-old me worry more about me sending this email out or taking a moment to play with the cars for 3 minutes with my son and having that memory? And then based on what the 90-year-old me would say, I take action.
Hmm.
And that kind of gave me the ability of saying it's like almost having this see how sometimes in cartoons you have the little angel and the little devil like on the
Devil,
shoulder.
yeah,
It's kind of like, to me, it's like that 90-year-old me is like having that external mentor, which is just yourself
yeah.
in your mind, like as a way to think about shit.
Boy, sending that email. And, all right, we'll play after. We gotta get this money. Hold on, we play with them cards later.
Sometimes that's the answer though.
No, I know. Like, I'm laughing, but like that really is because sometimes there's certain shit that it's like I really couldn't play with these cards with you in 5 minutes. Let me finish these 30 seconds that are in front of me, and then I'll get to you.
Or
Um,
it can be the email can wait 5 minutes.
yeah, either way,
Like it
of course,
depends. So, but like,
of course. Um, I should have done this in the beginning. If for the people that are new here, please make sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Audi. To my right is Vinny, and always with the funeral flow in the black is Ro. Um, I should have done this in the beginning. The pod isn't over yet. But I just wanted to get that off at some point.
sure, we'll intro
I
30 something
he
We'll
minutes.
said
call
the
that that's a metro right there. That's
quick
some new shit. I'm coming with
Metro.
all new shit.
So, like, okay, because this 90-year-old you got me thinking now, right? So, like, how do you know exactly that that's what the 90-year-old you would say?
You don't. Just ask yourself. It's just the reason I do this, and like, and the guy that wrote the book, damn, I wish I remember the name of the author. Uh, his mindset is more to externalize the question, because sometimes we get ourselves into a position that if we had somebody to ask, "What would you do in this situation?" and they give you an answer, you will do based on what they will tell you. It's it's almost a way of having that person to reference or that mentor there at any time. If you think of it as yourself as an older person.
Or it's like when sometimes when you look back at shit, you be like, "Yo, I was bugging out. What was I thinking? Why did I do that?" But it's because you might have not really talked to yourself about it.
And
It's just
you're thinking about it in hindsight. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So you're giving yourself an opportunity to think about it from a very different perspective,
Mm,
which is the future you. Like is this thing that I'm doing right now very, very meaningful, or like not? Or is
mm.
this something that can wait? Or is this something that I should say yes to or no to? Or are these the types of actions I want to do? And it can be something as simple as like, yo, like right now, the 90-year-old me, uh, will he want me to get up at 5 in the morning to go to the gym? And that 90-year-old, if he's walking around as we're having a conversation, it's probably telling me because I went to the gym, he's walking around as we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
If I picture the 90-year-old me like struggling in bed or like walking with a walker or something, like, fuck, because I didn't go to the gym, now I got to deal with this. That gives me a different visual and a different perspective to go and get it done.
This sounds. This is. I kind of do this, but not with a 90-year-old version of me, but with the future version of me, the version of me that I see myself as. It's like an easy example. If I want to be a bodybuilder, right? The bodybuilder version of me. It's like, yo, you really not gonna go to the gym today? So you think that it's okay to miss this day,
Yeah, same
right?
concept.
Yeah, same. That's what I'm saying. It's the same concept. It's like
I
you
think
seeing
it's almost
the
like
version of yourself.
externalize
Yeah,
this problem that to you seems massive at the moment. And then in the span of, if you ever get to be 90, in the span of being 90, then you will be like, oh, this wasn't that big of a deal. If you get to view it from that perspective.
yeah.
Um, did you have anything you want to add to this?
No, 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 no.
Before we get you have the next topic pulled up.
I have a bunch of random topics.
I ain't gonna. I kind of wanted you to reread how this conversation started because he answered and we kind of just kept going from there. And there was something that I wanted to add to it, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to remember it. If you
Reread?
the question that you had that how we started this conversation.
Oh, shit. I don't even know if I had it as a question. I just had a bunch of notes.
All right, then
All right.
you
I
could just
think it
go to
was
the next one. If
this the in your 20s, you're young. You get to like have fun, mess around in your 20s. Because you're told the life is long, you're supposed to enjoy it.
yeah,
That?
Yeah, that's how it
Yeah.
started.
yeah. I'm trying to think. There was something in this conversation I wanted to get to. It's not gonna come to. I'm not gonna hold us there. If whatever the next thing you got, we can get to it. So I don't want to hold us at me just trying to.
No, like a lot of the stuff I had in mind is along these topics, and it was kind of, you know what, interesting because I want to. I'm actually going to take it into a personal note. I wanted to talk about the text message this morning that brought us to this podcast today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that's a good way to get into
Let's
Um,
talk about
no
it.
angle towards me when you say that shit.
it. I didn't.
Do you want to start like all right? So the origin of the conversation starts really at me going to PodCon, Philly PodCon. Shout out to Wallow and like the whole event. It was a cool time. It really started there on Saturday, cause and really been hearing the same thing from a bunch of different like high level content creators. They're all like the same thing, like niche down,
Yeah, I'm really sorry I
and
couldn't go, man. I was trying to go and I went to the site and I didn't see a link for the tickets anymore. I was kind of bummed out. I really wanted to
it
go
was
with you.
cool. And well, we'll talk about it after. You could have just walked in. Basically, they didn't even check my ticket, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Um, so it's really started then about niching down and all that, and then it kind of just it started to like fuck with me a little bit, and then this kind of this whole a lot of the shit that we've been talking about it today. I'm like, damn, I just been chasing this shit for so long, and I kind of just like I just got burnt out by this shit. Like I'm just like fuck. Like I feel like I've kind of been running in place
So this
when
is
it
why
comes to
this is why
this.
I started fucking with you.
Yeah, like this is kind of where like the train of thoughts kind of started
I'm
type
trying I'm
shit.
trying to figure out what exactly caused the fucking with you part exactly. Like
I think it was the fact that
I think there was like a trigger,
I'm in
right?
a venue with damn near 3,000 other people, 2,000 other people that all have not every single person, but a bunch of people either have a pod or trying to do pods of different shit. And this is just in one place at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, there's so much shit out there that I'm like, damn, am I wasting my time? Am
Were
I like
you
what is really the purpose of what I'm doing? What's my goal? Why am I sitting here every week making 2-3 videos? Like, well, now we're making way more than that, but you get what I'm saying? Making all these hours of content for what? Like, what is my purpose? What is my goal? What am I doing this for?
you sure it wasn't a matter of like, damn, there's a lot of people here. Like, this is a lot of competition.
Nah, I think that it's like
Like it's
what
too many people potting.
it's too many people potting for me to be potting aimlessly.
Oof.
Yeah, it's like I need to there has to be for a purpose or a reason. I've there's too many things over I'm coming up on 4 years that I've I've put this over that like people that have been around me when it comes to this past stuff that like they've chosen other things in their lives and that's okay, like there's nothing wrong with that, but I continue to pick this over those things in my life. So now it's a little tough that I'm like, damn, if I could have gone that way, which I know that my heart is in this. This is where I want to be, but it's just tough where I feel like, damn, I feel like I'm failing, and I could have been in a different point of view if I would have, in a different position if I would have taken some of the opportunities that were
Presented to you.
presented to me in these last 4 years that I couldn't take because of my commitment to this. That like nobody has had a level of commitment to this until I got with him. Pause.
Yeah, you
I don't
better
think that was
pause.
a pause
Pause.
moment, but
I don't know, just in case.
but
And that's not a shot or nothing. That's just the 100% honest truth. Like there's not. I did. He works harder than me. If we work the same, if I think he definitely works harder than me. So it's like I just haven't worked with anybody on it. You get what I'm
on
saying?
that level,
Yeah. So it's just like I just don't want to keep going aimlessly. And I think I just overthought it and it just fucked me over.
I could definitely say you overthought it. I could definitely say because I do the same exact thing that you do, and you tell me, yo, you overthinking it.
And the second part to that, to just to wrap up your what your question was, is also like I I can't really like gauge how good or bad I am at this. If you really want, if I'm gonna be like 100% honest with the listen with y'all with whoever the listenership, the viewership, I can't really gauge how good or bad I am at this.
I feel
It's
you
like
on
I'm
that.
better than what I was my first day, but it's like, am I wasting my time? I'll be honest, is a thought that I very much have had to myself.
I definitely feel you on that because I've felt the same way with creating content. And but the thing that fuels those thoughts is the fact of damn, like my engagement is not up there. Damn, I don't have that many followers. Damn, my views are not up there. Damn, I haven't worked with a brand yet. And a lot of that really um trickles down to me and my work ethic. For real, for real. I haven't been the most consistent with it, but that's because I would allow outside factors, things in life to bring me so down and my overthinking and overstressing, even the small stuff. And then I just fall into this victim mindset, and it's very crippling, very very crippling. So I take accountability in that.
I think it's a victim mindset.
You don't think it's a victim mindset?
Nah, I think
Wow,
it's
I'm gonna play
the
the lottery because that's the first
I
time this
think
nigga
it's the
don't come at me.
oh, I'm about to come, but I'm about
Whoa,
to
pause.
sure.
Hold
No, but
on.
what I was gonna say is I think it's more about comparison and getting
Yes,
lost in
that
the
too.
comparison thing because it's interesting. So I think everybody goes through that, especially in this day and age of social media, where you have so many people, and maybe for you it was the case of having thousands of people pursuing the same goals as you. It's easy for you to question, am I the one to really break through it?
I want to add just a quick pause on that. There was actually somebody that I followed too that was on live and talking about this, and the things that he was saying, it really discouraged me. He was like, "You got to understand, not you competing against people like me, like, and I'm gonna get the bag. And there's a bunch of people trying to do this and blah blah. Their Instagram's not paying that much money. All these negative things." But he was like, "But I'm not saying this to discourage you, though. I'm just being real with you." Which it was like kind of hard to distinguish the two, but
Uh, I don't know. It is what it is. I think there's enough for everybody to eat. That's the way I view it. And it's I'm not gonna say because I think I've gone through this, especially with photography. Like my work, I have. It's easy for me to fall under imposter syndrome, and this is coming from someone who's made hundreds of thousands of dollars taking pictures. Uh, so it kind of puts you in like in a weird perspective, and like there's always somebody be like, oh, like especially with specific brands that I work with, there's always comments of like, oh, I want to work with you, like I wish I can work with you, like can you pick me to do this? And so that, and there's always this mindset of like, oh, I'm not good enough, like I don't know what brands will come to me for photography. So it's easy to fall under that kind of mindset. So I get it and I understand it, and it can be the same thing now in potting, but it's also gotten me to the point where I got to photography. I got it to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna shoot for what people will say in social media. I'm gonna shoot for the fun of creating and to prove that I can create at this level whenever I want to. Like I'm just able to do it. Like I don't have to think. I make it look easy. And it's funny because I probably had times where people felt like they were overpaying for me because I made my job look easy. And they literally paid me that they went and got a different photographer to save money and then came back to me because they were like, shit, we went to somebody else because we thought we were overpaying you because we make what I do, I make it look easy. And that came with over a decade of doing it for
that's how
me to
you know
come to
you're
that
good.
realization. I didn't know that, but like going through the process, I'm like, hey, how do I get to work with these brands and so on? And then it wasn't until years later that now I look back and I'm like, oh shit, I've worked with big brands. Oh shit, I literally touch almost every continent with this thing of just pressing a button on a camera. That's what it's like to me in my mind. Like it's so
Yeah,
simple because you have the knowledge. And I think it's not much different for you to do the same thing when it comes to potting. And the only way you get better talking in front of a microphone, talking on a camera, is doing more talking on a microphone, talking on the camera.
yeah,
There's very, very few people that are just naturally extremely charismatic and can just turn it on camera.
right.
Or they maybe grew up playing with a camera and it just comes natural to them, but it's a very, very small amount. And honestly, even if you look at a lot of different podcasts and different people creating, you can see that oftentimes it's easy for people to replicate what other people are doing or try to, or for them to not have their own essence. And I think just focus on being you and giving your part, and then you will find people that would just like what you have to say and like what you got to do. And that's all you have to care about.
Hold on, because I agree with you because we obviously have picked up a fan base over across a bunch of different platforms over the last 4 years. So I agree with you, but I think that it might be a little bit like it's easier for you to get like just using myself as the example. It's easier for you to gauge how that you've gotten better because of the different places that you've been able to go or like the different brands that you've been able to work with and things like that. So I think it's a little easier for you to gauge it.
But see, that's the thing though. Like, I think we get too caught up in measuring our success with things like that. Like, for example, uh,
But I was gonna say I do got one more point. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead,
All
go
right,
ahead.
because what I did want to say because your response to my initial thing where and both of y'all went the same way is for me this I'm not looking for like a brand deal or that kind of shit. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not about the competition of the people that were in the room. It's like how I said it. It's me aimlessly chasing this for what? What am I really doing this for? Because I know that chasing a job just for money isn't gonna make me happy. Like I
Of
haven't had the
course not.
first job that I've made money, just making money that I'm like, yo, this is like I actually enjoy this. I'm not making money off, but I actually enjoy it. But it's like I'm just looking for my purpose and of what the show that we're putting out is. Like
You
what are
want to
we
feel
actually
fulfilled.
doing?
You want
Yeah.
to feel fulfilled.
It's more of a fulfillment thing of what am I like I'm actually doing. And hopefully like money and those things do come to where I can be like financially free or whatever, and that's cool. Like that's what I want, but I want it to be purpose filled. I want it to be something that I'm enjoying. I don't want it to just be like bullshit and come in doing like the same shit that everybody else is doing. There's no new conversations. It's nothing different. There's nothing different about what we're doing. There's 100,000 other people doing the same shit.
So you're saying that you're okay with not getting paid from this at all ever, and you will
No,
still
that's
continue doing it.
at all ever no. I think
So
at
that
some
plays a
point
part.
eventually I'd walk away from it.
That plays a part in the fulfillment.
Yeah, but there's nothing that I've done that I'm like I don't want to. Why wouldn't I want to monetize like off of it somehow? If I love it, I'm not saying that I want to be. I don't. I'm the richest potter ever. I would like to be financially free from it, but I don't want to be. I'm not looking to be the most famous or the most popular.
Okay. But the point that I was going to say earlier was that we often make the mistakes of measuring our success with these, I don't know, I guess high milestones, instead of saying, damn, you know, I put out all this content, but I have yet to
What the fuck?
collab with a brand or anything like that. But instead, to help that kind of thought process, saying, well, I didn't get a brand deal, but at least I was consistent this week. At least at least I was consistent. At least I put 3 videos out this week. Last week, or maybe like a month ago, I wasn't this consistent. I was probably pulling out 1 video a week, or maybe 1 video every other week. So instead of like bringing yourself down and you know to that extent, I think it's more so better for us to practice gratitude, even in the smaller scale,
Fuck no. And I don't mean it that way. But I have to be bombastic with that comment.
to help. You don't think so?
No, because I think so. This is what I mean. And the reason I say, and I don't mean it
I don't appreciate your
in an
front door,
extremely.
by the way.
The reason I say that is this is part of the shit that I think sometimes is not said, and I think it is okay to be hard on yourself. It is okay to be hard on yourself, and I think as a man, that's part of being a man. Oftentimes, it's kind of like, hey, you have to hold yourself to a high standard of wanting to achieve and get things done at a high level,
See,
and that's fine. And you need to do that.
this is the blue pill side of me talking,
Yeah,
but I agree with you on that though. But so many people tell me like, stop being so hard.
That's right. And YouTube, that'd be a red pill conversation.
No, what he's saying is red pill.
Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah.
No, what I was saying is blue pill. That's what I said.
Oh,
But here's the thing: so many people say that you're so hard on yourself. You're so hard on yourself, and then
yeah,
this
but
shit
like
starts to like.
the way I would see is like those people that be like, you so hard on yourself. What are they doing? How good are they in life? Like, what are they achieving their goals?
But let me ask you this:
Are they hitting the marks that they want to hit in life? And I think sometimes we don't call out that bullshit that people because people it's easy to give advice that sounds pretty because everybody else says it.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
mhm.
But if you really think about it, most that have made it and accomplished it. So, like, let's say if the goal is to try to grow this, like for me, this is an outlet. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like to me, this is a place where I come and I'm like, I don't have to think. I just come and talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like from a perspective, like this is the way I view this. So like I enjoy it from that aspect.
You just made me realize that I just really need to be surrounded by more like-minded people. That's really what it is. But continue, my bad.
So you want to be, I think as a man, you that was gonna lead into the part I want to see. So I want to say you want to not just like-minded people, but people that can call you out and talk to you in a way that you probably want to talk. Like you may need to be talked in any given moment. And I'm gonna use this as an example because I was like, hey, this is shit that's happening in real life. It was like if I even take the message of like what you said last night, you were like, yo, I think I'm burned out. I need a break from potting. Right. So like at that moment, anybody could have interpreted that and they could have went the easy way of Yeah, I get it. Shit can be hard. Let me know how much time you need. Blah blah blah.
Well,
Take the time that you
I did
need.
put the time. I said I'm like, we could just like finish the rest
Start
of
in
the month out.
February.
But it was something along those lines.
Yeah,
We could have been in agreement to
Yeah.
what you said.
yeah.
And now for me, my gut reaction, but it was like, damn. But then I held myself from replying because I you didn't have the context of if I would have been like, stop being a bitch, get to the pod. You didn't have the context of why I would say that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll let him be tomorrow in the morning when I wake up. I'll let him sleep on it, and then I'll send the message. So I was very like I was very strategic, even about the words that I was choosing. I was like, I want to make sure that what I'm sending is something that you want to hear to get you to show up for the pod. And oftentimes we don't have friends and people around us that can understand what somebody may need at any given moment, and you need to find those people if you can. And I don't even remember exactly what I said, but it was I try to make light of it in a way of like, yo, are you over your shit? And then like super like I don't remember what I said.
AKA, you done being a little bitch is pretty much what he's trying to say.
Yeah, but I
Just
didn't
Yeah,
say
but
those
he
that's pretty
he
words.
much what
said,
he's saying.
but
I'm gonna
this,
just give it to you
but
straight because
but
he's.
it's exactly, but it's exactly the way that he described it. That it's like if he would have said like in last night, if he would have been like, yo, stop being a little bitch. I wouldn't have texted back because I'm not gonna argue with him, but it wouldn't. I probably wouldn't have shown up today if I'm being honest.
If
Because
he would have
just
said
because of
that,
the
yeah.
yeah, but because of this, like he said, it's the space that I was in. It wasn't. It's a completely different space than when I slept on it, and then I had been up for a little bit, but then he texted me early as shit in the morning, like, yo, like, oh, good morning. Well, he wrote in the chat, yo, good morning. Da, da,
Very
da, da. Like,
positive
yeah,
stuff. I'm
man.
like,
I'm
look at
like,
this guy.
this is never him. This man is never positive. This man is like, not that you're not positive, but it's like a 3-4 word max type shit. Unless we're talking about something important, it's like that's something uncommon. So it's like, and I can see what you're doing too, and that's why, and I let you know in the conversation, like how appreciative I am of that, because that's exactly what I needed to hear. So, but I think that the tough part is um in that is finding those people around you
I was gonna
that
say that
to have
same thing,
and
bro.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm not saying no, but actually something came up on the screen, so you got distracted. No, so I was saying finding those people is not hard
Yes, it is.
if you put yourself in the places where those people are.
Even finding those places is hard, bro.
No, it ain't.
But
Yes,
hold on, I think just change that. It's not that it's hard, but just where would those kind of places be?
Like for me, for example, I have these conversations of what you had. I have those almost every morning when I train jujitsu, literally, because I'm like going to a place where it's predominantly men training, and every single one of us is getting up at 5 in the morning to be training by 6 in the morning. So we have that one thing in common. And more than likely, most of us are getting up that early because we have all the responsibilities in life that we need to get done afterwards, whether it's work, family, any other kind of
So it's
responsibilities.
that level of respect that you kind of already have built
So
in when
you
you walk
kind
in the
of
gym.
exactly. So it's like, yo, we're all choosing to come and do something hard to start our day, and then when we are talking about the rest of the day, anything else that can come after, hey, somebody literally tried to break my arm, somebody tried to choke me out, somebody literally tried to put me to sleep, anything else that can come for the rest of the day is easy. You get what I mean?
hmm
And the type of conversations you will have with people like that uh, are very motivational and very easy for you to get used to if you haven't had that before. And it's not even in a weird way. It's kind of like, because it's not even like we're sitting down and having conversations like this. Sometimes it's like there's this guy that comes to where I train and be like, Hammer, you gonna be a pussy today? That's all he says. And I'm like, yeah, that means I gotta go get it. Like, don't be a like literally that's his way of talking. And like I'll randomly be a Wawa and out of nowhere he may be buying coffee and he'll yell, Hammer, what do you do today? Like that's the way he talks. He's a weird, like Delaware County kind of guy, but so he's a funny guy. But like the way that he talks, it's kind of like this motivational, inspirational. But it's like I may be talking to an electrician, I may be talking to a doctor, I may be talking to a plumber, but we're all doing this hard thing every single morning, and kind of like men being men and motivating each other to be better at something. And sometimes you may need that, even if it is, oh, I'm helping you be better at jujitsu. It's still kind of motivating you to be better at something, and that carry on for the rest of the day. If that makes any sense.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm still sticking to what I said. It's hard, bro. It's hard to find that room or those people because, at least from my experience, because anytime I say I meet new people, whatever, It's not on that type of energy. It's not on that type of time.
because you're in the wrong rooms.
Yeah,
I am in
that's
the,
that.
but I know that. I know that. But then it comes to the question. I was like, where the fuck are these rooms at?
But
Right?
that's why I
You asked the
I said it in
question.
the moment. I'm like, where? Because of
But
the
it still
same thing.
brings
Because a lot
back.
of
It still brings back to the point of like it's hard to find these people
but
because. And I'm not gonna. And I'm gonna keep it all the way 1,000, bro. I gravitate towards you a lot because you have that energy. I'm like, yo, this is the type of shit that I need to be around more often to shake off those people that, oh, nah, you're good. Don't be so hard on yourself.
So I'm
Blah
gonna
blah
give
blah.
you an answer. I'm gonna give you like a
start going to
simple
the
answer.
gym, bro.
Like,
Start mixing
no, not
niggas.
even
Nigga, you
that.
know I go to the
It's
gym.
not
But
even the gym.
like the fighting gym.
Not even the
Oh,
fighting gym. It's like you're probably going to and I don't know this, but I'm gonna take a guess.
go ahead.
I'm guessing you go to the gym often,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure you go to a franchise gym.
Yep.
Cool. So I guarantee
I already
you,
know where you're
if
going.
you move away from that traditional LA Fitness big name gym where everybody just goes, puts their headphones on, and like carries on and do whatever they got to do, and go to a gym where it's only one of them and local to you, I guarantee you, you're gonna find a sense of community there because
Mm, I could agree.
people are actually gonna talk to each other.
Yeah.
People are gonna be more willing to help out.
Yeah.
You're gonna see the same faces coming in and out, like that type of stuff. You may even become cool with the owner because you're literally gonna know who owns this. You don't know who owns Planet Fitness. You don't know who owns LA Fitness.
You're
So
right.
that sense of community gets lost, and I think we do this right now with the commercialization of America. It's easy to fall into that almost in any aspect of it, and we've lost that sense of community. But those pockets of communities do exist. Like for me, I happen to have found that close to me in jujitsu, but you can find that in just a regular gym.
Mhm.
But if you move away from like, and even if it costs you more money, what you can get out of that community and being around those people is worth you paying an extra $20 a month, an extra
Yeah.
$30 a month. And sometimes we make the decision of like, oh, I'm gonna go to Planet Fitness because it's $15 a month instead of 35, without counting the amount of positive impact that having that sense of community can bring to you.
Let us know in the comment section where some other places that you guys feel like are along the same elk of positive places of reinforcement for men, like shit, like because I've been feeling like the same way you do, like you do too. That's why I asked where, because I'm like, shit, these are the kind of places that I also want to be around, because I feel the same way. I'm like, well, we had this conversation the other like last week. I'm like, yo, most of the people that I'm around don't have the mindset that you have. So I feel the same way that he does. I'm like, this is one of the reasons why I enjoy this, like coming here too and having these kind of conversations. Why I wanted to change the format of what we're actually doing, because there's a whole lot of men that are like me and you, or that are
Yeah.
younger than us, or that are older than us, that are still have that same mindset of like, no, like we kind of sometimes we just need a little bit of guidance in
Yeah.
different parts of being a man.
And I don't know if you experience this too, but a lot of the times when I'm speaking from my experience, I'm the one that's like that influence. I'm the one that's, you know, the the one that's pushing for, better or with a different mindset, usually trying to instill that in somebody else if it's somebody new that I meet or whatever the case may be. Instead of me being like, "Oh, wow, I'm looking up to this person," like, "Yo, I want to gravitate towards you," kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm usually the one that's the influence, or you get what I'm trying to
The
say?
influencer.
The influencer.
I get what you're saying. I wouldn't know how to gauge myself in that conversation. I think that I'm strong in my own opinions, though. I think that like
Yeah,
if
you definitely are. You
like
definitely
if
are.
I like some shit, like if neither y'all like some shit, but I like it, like y'all can't get me to change my opinion.
But I respect that though. I respect that.
Yeah, cause
Like,
cause I hate when I see people
because you
that are
don't easily
just
conform to
yeah.
somebody else's. You know what I mean?
And it's not even about like easily conforming. It's just some people that I'm like, I could say like they'll walk into the room saying one shit, and I'll say the opposite of that, and they'll leave the room saying what I'm saying, and it'll be like in a small span, like it won't even be a real conversation or argument or whatever. And
That's
Yeah.
most people
I hate
nowadays,
that
though.
shit.
I think most people nowadays can have a below the surface conversation on most topics. Like most people have enough talking points that they heard in social media, and after they went through the three talking points they've heard, they cannot go beyond it. But that's this is what it is. But I also think as a man, especially a young man, something that you can also do, and I think this is something that's not people don't advocate for so much, as I think you should do something hard every day. Period. Every single day, you should do something difficult to get done. And that can come from work in some way. It can come maybe the gym. It can come from whatever the case is, something difficult.
It
every
builds
single day. For
character.
some people, it's getting in a freaking tub full of ice or whatever, but something
That's the new
difficult.
wave.
But sure, like people have been doing that. Uh, I think you should read, and I think you should journal, like write your own thoughts. Uh, and I think those three things will start really, really changing your mindset as a man, or start allowing you to identify in your mindset. Because I think oftentimes men don't know what they think and why they think it, or why they think the way they think, if that makes any sense. And I think if you were to journal and write down what you're thinking, that gives you the ability to externalize what's in your mind and process it in a way that you haven't done before. Because when you keep it in your head and you just let it go past and just fades, but if you write it down and you reread it, you may look at it from a different lens and even learn from your own thoughts and start thinking about things differently. Um, and I don't think that's encouraged that often nowadays.
I learned that in therapy. I like that about therapy. We talked about that before. It's like peeling the layers back on the onion. It's peeling layers. Because
Shrek
sometimes
head ass.
it's just that surface. It's that surface problem, and so
Mhm.
sometimes you gotta like I said, just peel the layers off it. Really
Yo,
get to of why something's bothering you.
I don't know. I'm being honest. Like I've tried journaling, and for a portion, it was kind of working, but I just felt like it got to a point where it felt more forceful. Like it just wasn't really doing it for me.
I,
I just started asking like, yo, like this is not.
I don't think
I,
you gotta do it every day though.
it doesn't have to be every day. It's just the action itself of like I was hoping that I would feel something, or like it would work in a way. Well,
And
I would
change
feel
it,
the effectiveness, but it just
Uh,
doesn't.
then change it, then change what you're trying to do. So I think for me, like what, because I've tried journaling in multiple ways. Like I've tried, and now my journaling is actually very simple. Mine is right there right now. You can literally see it. Um, but now the for somebody who's starting, I would say write out what you're grateful for in that day. Because oftentimes we don't take a moment to think, what was great about today that I'm grateful for? And you don't even think about it. And it's so easy to get lost in the negatives. So if you just get in the habit of like, hey, I'm just going to write down what I was grateful for. And what that can help is those days when you're falling into like a dark place in your head. It's like, you know what? Let me go read some of the stuff that went great this week. And you already
So
have
you
it
go
there.
back to what you were
Just
grateful
spoil you.
for.
It's like, oh shit, this week wasn't that bad. Like here's seven great things that happened. As opposed to this one moment where I think everything's falling apart, which is easy for your brain to play that trick on you and like make you think that everything is going crazy.
Shit's almost like
You can
every day
just
for
quickly
me.
be like, oh, this was literally Wednesday. This was great.
Hmm.
And I was feeling great in this moment. And just rereading those words will probably bring back some of the emotions that you might have felt in that moment.
So that's gratitude, though.
I did that shit on a calendar 1 month. I'm like, from start to end, every single night before I went to bed, I would write like GD or BD, like good day or bad day.
Mm.
And then when I look back at that shit, and sometimes the bad days feel like they're bad weeks or months, and it really only be like 2 days or like a couple hours in that one day or like whatever. You don't normally consistently feel like bad for long periods of time or an entire day or whatever. And what I noticed was that I had a lot more good days than I had bad days, like a real big difference.
You know, I can't help to. This just reminded me of what I said earlier about the topic of like being hard on yourself and whatnot. Isn't this? Doesn't this kind of correlate in a sense? Like,
Possibly.
yeah, because you're saying look back. Okay, well at least I had X amount of good days, so on and
No,
so
don't
forth.
even view it as at least. It's like it's almost like get used to like, because it's easy to get the negative thoughts overwhelm you, as opposed to saying, hold up, like this week I had six amazing things to be grateful for.
That's like me saying like, oh well, at least I posted this
That's
many
not
times
even
this week.
that's not even an at least. That's like more of like, that was literally six things to be grateful for.
Okay,
Like, you know what I mean?
it's the change of mindset.
Like even the wording of like, oh,
Yeah,
saying at least is like minimizing the fact that you had something to be grateful for every day.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I think, sometimes even some of the negatives I will experience, I can document as something to be grateful for. If you try to view it from like, yo, should I be grateful for the fact that I had to struggle, for me, shoveling my driveway and the sidewalk around my
You
house.
got a long ass driveway, brother.
I know,
You
but
should
then
you should have shoveled some more, bro. I almost busted my ass twice. I was
Yo,
out there
that ass,
moonwalking
I
and
almost
shit.
busted my ass too.
I had to walk through the grass, like the snowy grass
You
part
need
and
more
shit.
salt, nigga. It's like,
Yeah, bro. Next time, and it's gonna snow on Friday. We gonna buy some ice and shit. We gonna put
but you
it up
see,
on
but
there.
that lets me know I'm grateful for the fact that if somebody tries to break into my house, I know that they will likely bust their ass on
bust.
the way in.
On their way.
So that's all I'm saying. Like you can always find a positive, like if you really, really think about it.
But it really just boils down to the shifting in mindset, right? That's really what it boils down to.
But you can only shift your mindset if you get used to looking at the positive in certain
Positive,
things.
yeah.
Because it's easy to think about the negatives and it's funny to think even if you like people read comments and shit. And I know I take it and I know like most of the people that be watching, they don't realize that I be dying at the comments. And I literally view it as a joke. Like when people
Facts.
be like
Yo,
trying to eat me up in the comments, I literally be texting you guys like, "Yo, should I go in on this person?" Like
I be
literally,
wanting you to,
because
bro.
to me it's
I
just
mean, I mean,
funny.
because I be telling him to chill sometimes. Because sometimes we'll just make jokes out of it, and then there'll be people that'll be like, "Yo, that I ain't gonna lie, that was funny. I gotta fuck with y'all. I subscribed or whatever." There's people that like it, and there's people that don't comment back, or there's people that keep going, and we'll have full on conversations, or we'll
Yeah.
argue with, or whatever the fuck.
I mean, I
But
say
it's
do
not
it, bro.
that deep, bro.
It
Like,
really,
But like
it
for
really
me, it's never
isn't.
deep because to me, like it's just a comment. I get it. It is what it is. I'm gonna like I'm not gonna. But I know that there's people that you like. I know people like have millions of followers on their Instagram. They will literally have 3,000 comments on a post. 99% of them are positive, and they will
Look at
let
that
two
one.
negative ones destroy their entire day.
Jesus.
Like, you know
Cause
what I
it's
mean?
so easy to like feed into the negativity,
Correct.
bro. But it's a lot harder to feed into the positivity. Ain't that shit crazy?
It's harder. No, it is not
Nowadays,
harder. It's just that you don't practice that.
nah,
You practice leaning into the negative,
negative.
so that's your normal. That's your default mode is, oh, I'm fucking gonna go into the negative stuff that's happening. But if you try to like almost program yourself to, I gotta think of something I'm grateful for every day, something that happened that was
Reprogramming.
amazing, then you start looking at things in a positive light.
Go ahead,
can't
preacher.
can't no
Go ahead.
motherfucker that don't work as hard as me or even put out content try to talk shit to me about putting out content. Like in comment section shit, like that shit, like he said, it just makes me laugh. Like bro, this motherfucker's like, yo, y'all fucking suck. Y'all ain't gonna never get over 1,000 views on a video. I'm like, well, one, we got
Yeah,
a
one of
few
them
of
was like this
those.
boring ass podcast. I'm like, but yet you watching this boring ass podcast. Like
I'm
I was
like, yeah,
laughing.
because he gave a whole detailed description on the pod. I'm like, all right, cool. Because it's not for everybody. Because like you said, there are people who we should highlight the people that also support us and show us love. We very much appreciate y'all and thank you. Please keep supporting us. But like you said, like in that same motherfucker that comment that I'm like, one, you're wrong already because there's a bunch that's over 1,000. But that same one that he commented on got over 1,000 too. So I'm
Exactly.
like,
And we got him to comment too, bro.
yeah.
So
So
like
it's like,
we literally got you to spend the time to type whatever it was that you said exactly and let us know. Like, come on,
can't no
man.
motherfucker behind the keyboard that don't make content affect the way that I feel about the shit.
But it's having that resilience, so that's important. It's having that resilience. I remember I made a my one video where I was what was the it said how Philly slash Jersey niggas clean their room, and I was doing the hip rock and all that shit. And
Yeah.
there was this one girl, like there was a bunch of people that was loving it, and there was this one girl bashing me, talking about oh, he's stiff as hell. Y'all need to stop lying to him, blah 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 blah. And I just commented, I'm like, I hope your day gets better. Like it sounds like you're having a bad day, and I hope your day gets better, sweetheart. She was mad. But that's how I could tell, like, yo,
Yeah.
there's something a lot of the time these people be having shit going on in their life and a lot of times negative, and that's what causes them to put out this energy.
Um. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't have anything else to add to this conversation. I think we're over an hour for sure, right?
Yeah.
I think we can
Damn,
wrap it
that
up here.
shit felt like it didn't even feel like an hour. That's crazy.
We can wrap it up here. Yeah, there's a few things I do want to say about this conversation. I really enjoyed this pod a lot. I enjoyed
Fact,
it.
same.
I'm enjoying the thought of like the new direction that we're taking with this. And it's honest. This is probably the most honest I've ever been on on a pod
Yep,
about
yep.
like
I had a feeling.
how I've ever felt about this. Like this whole process is probably the most honest I've ever been. Um, it's stressful. I will say that this shit is stressful. After 4 years, you committed to some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I do love this shit.
Good
Um,
things don't come easy, they say.
Yeah, and it's like it's not even that I'm trying to give up on it or nothing. You know, sometimes just to be a little burnt out and in the moment be
I
fucked
guess
up.
I think I guess think about Mr. Beast, bro. I think he's been doing this shit for 11 plus years. You said, and like, and now, like, you know what? You know how crazy that is to do it for so many years like that, and then to now be like the king of YouTube, pretty much.
Yeah, been there for a while, but I get what you're saying.
That's
Still
years,
making
bro.
new content, still smoking shit, being consistent. Cause then the day that's not even the hard part. I don't even necessarily like. I don't know if it's getting there. I think the harder part is staying there.
Staying there. Yep. Yep. You
I
said it.
think both are hard, but I think staying there is tougher.
Yeah, you said it.
That's also the shit that comes with it. Sometimes I think about the space that I'm in right now, and I'm like, I do feel this way, but sometimes I feel like I might not be ready for the person like where I envision this platform being one day.
Hmm.
I like sometimes I think I might not just be ready for that today. Like I need to have more ideas, more things.
More experience.
Yeah. I'm Audi. That's Ro. That's Vinny. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to Never Famous, the home of the Purple Pill community. It was someone of the we
That
still
works. That works. That
getting it down.
works. That works.
Please hit the like, comment, and subscribe. I really hope you guys enjoyed this conversation today. I hope you guys watch the long form content. Again, we're gonna start really pushing these long form content and some different conversations. Let us know in the comments some different conversations you guys want to hear. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. It's Never Famous. Thank you.